Hi, my name is David Keene. I'm a product manager with Generac Mobile, and today I'm here to talk to you about one of our new products, the DF7500, which is a dust suppression system. So what is dust suppression? Essentially, it's a water unit that is used to take dust out of the air, I mean very, very fine dust. So what's it used in? It's used in applications such as big demolition sites, mining, where a lot of regulations call for clean air. They want to make sure the dust is getting dropped to the ground, it's not going out into the environment. So this particular unit, it nebulizes water into droplets that are the sizes between 50 and 150 micron, which is very, very small, and it will grab onto dust as low as a size of 80 micron and drop that dust straight to the ground. So what I'd like to do today is talk to you a little bit about the features of this unit and highlight a lot of the areas, the functional areas of this product, so you get a better understanding of what it is, how it's used, and then I will take you through the operational setup and the start procedure as well as the stop procedure. Since we're here, I wanted to start on this side of the unit. First off, you can tell that the unit itself is on a skid. So we offer this product as a skidded unit or with an optional trailer, which you can see it's already set on. So this is two different options depending on the application that you want to be using it for. But I do want to point out a couple of the highlighted areas of this product right on this side. You can see down here, we already have it hooked up, but the power inlet, which with the power cord, which we have set up to one of our gens. And in the front, you can see two lifting eyes, and then there's one on the back and then a fourth one on the other side. So 4 lifting points in order to move the product in that way when it's skidded. And can't see it at this angle, but there are 2 fork lift pockets back here. So another way to move the product around. Up in front here, we just have 1 pin, but there's another one here that's set up around the corner. And what those are pins that are used for the oscillating system, and it's a electric oscillating system. So the oscillation, meaning it moves from left to right, it can go up to a full range of 335 degrees, so almost in a full circle. And what these pins do, you can move them, you can mount them along various holes throughout the skid, the platform. And depending on the application and the range that you want to use, these pins act as a block to the sensor, and the sensor will actually move it in one direction or back into another direction. And I'll get into a little more detail on that later. 2 other areas I want to talk about since we're over here on this side. This is a safety pin that's used for this column, and that is to secure the cone in place. If we brought it down to 0 degrees, this hole would be lined up with a hole in there. Safety pin would go in there. This is used for transport to make sure that the cone stays in place and it's not going to move at all. And just make sure, the one thing that we want to do, I'll talk about this again, but we want to make sure that it is removed when we actually put this into use. Another safety feature, very similar and the same idea, is the locking pin right here. So this is to make sure that the cone doesn't move left to right. So it's disengaged right now, but if we lock that in, that would actually secure it to the skid, the platform, and it would make sure that the cone does not move left to right. Then one last feature, we'll look at this too when we look a little bit more at the tilting mechanism, which is electric. You can see the gauge right here for the tilt. Right now we have it set at about a 10-degree tilt. You can see right there. It goes from 0 all the way up to 40 degrees. So think about 40 degrees, that's about as high as it can get. So now we can go around to the other side and take a look at some of the other features. So there are a few features I wanted to talk about this side. I'll get into those, and then we'll go in and get into some really big detail about the controller system, which is right here. So first off, I want to talk about the oscillating system. And again, that is the rotation from left to right. So if you left it at full rotation mode, it can get up to 335 degrees, I mean, compared to 360, right? These are your end pins. These are permanent, and so this would be the block. If you can see this sensor, this is what tells the unit, the cone, to stop and start going in the other direction. So if you didn't use anything, you can see these there's holes here that for the, there's other pins that I pointed out earlier, and I'm going to show you how to use those here. But if you didn't use any of those pins at all, it would actually, if you turn on the oscillating system, it would just go all the way around 335 degrees, hit that pin, bounce back, and do the same. So there are 2 pins up here, and these are made to go into the various holes along the circumference of the platform here. I'm just going to put it here for demonstration purposes. So what we'll do is put this in here. You can see that the sensor's against this one right now. When we get this thing going and turn on the oscillating system, it's going to start moving. It's going to move off this sensor, hit this pin, and then bounce back. And so it'll be a rotation maybe about 15 degrees. And we'll see that in action right there. The other feature I wanted to talk about was the water inlet, which is over here. Again, clearly labeled, but this is a 1-inch connection. So you can see we've taken a garden hose, we've created an adaptation for the 1-inch, and already have it set up right here. So finally, this was the final lift eye as well. But last on this side, I wanted to talk about the controller. So why don't we take a closer look at the controller, and I'll walk you through each of the different components. So at this point, we have the electric setup and we have the water setup. So, and the water would be, with the water valve would be in the closed position. So what I'm going to do is step you through the steps in order to turn the unit on. And we'd start here with the phase controller switch, which we turn to the standard. If this light would go on, we don't have it set up right now. The generator's not running, just so you could hear me. But if it was running and we actually had the rotation set in a reverse order, this light would go on, telling me that I'm in the wrong phase setting, and I would move it to the reverse setting, and this would go off, and then it would run. So basically, if this is red, red is wrong, switch it over to the other one. So we will go in standard, because I know that's set up that way. The main circuit switch is here, turn that to on, and then this order is important. You want to make sure you turn the fan on first, and then once the fan is on, you want to make sure the water valve is moved to an open position, and then you can turn the pump on, and that's going to start bringing the water through. So other areas that you want to be familiar with on the control panel, it's like these are the hours of the motor. I mean, so that's important to counter. This turns the oscillation system on. I've talked about this a couple times. It is the rotation from left to right. It actually moves 335 degrees, and this turns it on and off. Down here, just going around, we have either a manual control, which is really what I'm describing here and showing you here, but we also have a remote control. So, good time to bring this up. This remote control comes standard with the product. It allows you to access most of the functionality on the control panel. It will give you access to the fan. You can see right here, the fan, the pump, as well as the oscillating system, as well as the tilt, which I'll get to in a second. So moving back to this, just keep going around. We have the emergency stop here. We have the circuit breakers there. And the tilting mechanism that I was talking about, here's the joystick. So it's electric. It allows you to go down to 0 degrees or all the way up to 40 degrees. So those are the basic functions of the controller and the controller system. So now let's give this bad boy a shot.